Hi, my name is David P Shapiro. I am a San Diego-based criminal defense attorney and the owner and managing partner of the law office of David P Shapiro, where we help good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime. And in this video, I want to talk to you about a common question that we get is how to defend against a domestic violence charge when it's a he said, she said situation. You hear that a lot, right? He said, she said, or said, depending on the circumstances, right? Well, the best way to defend against any situation really is no different in a domestic violence situation. It's to keep your reach out to and ultimately consult with and then hire the best locally experienced quality criminal defense firm that you can afford, right? So a lot of times in domestic violence cases, it's usually whoever calls the police first, the other person's getting arrested, right? But just because you're getting arrested, not to minimize that, okay, not to minimize that, because I know what it's like to be arrested and ultimately not charged with the crime. And it didn't make it any easier at the time. Okay? I understand that firsthand, trust me. But what I could tell you is that by keeping your mouth closed, you may still have a significant better chance of not getting charged with the crime. And if you're not charged, but you don't have a statement to work off of, arguably decrease your chance of being convicted. And here's an example why. Okay, so let's say you have a situation where you and your partner, your ex-girlfriend, your current boyfriend, whoever, are involved in an altercation, verbal or otherwise. The other party calls and they want to say, hey, your girlfriend told us that you hit her 4 times. And your inclination is, well, wait a minute, that's not true. I only put my hands on her to get her off of me, and I pushed her once, right? Arguably, you may have a real good case. But what are you going to say? You're going to say, oh, no, I didn't hit her 4 times. I only hit her once to get her off of me. Well, just think about that for a second. You think you're doing yourself a service. You think you're doing your case. You think you're doing your freedom. You think you're doing your future a service. But what have you really done? You've admitted that you put your hands on her, well, at least one time. And you've now corroborated at least some of her story. You've confirmed some of her story. You've given validity to some of her story. Admittedly, you may be arrested either way. But the reality is now you've given a better chance you're going to be charged. You're given a better chance you might be convicted. Okay, so the best thing to do in these quote-unquote he said, she said situations is to politely keep your mouth closed and politely decline to answer any questions. Understanding that you're probably going to get arrested either way. But at that point, you want to make sure that you're minimizing the chances you're going to be charged, that you're minimizing the chances you're going to be convicted. And the way to maximize the success of a case in a he said, she said domestic violence situation, again, keep your mouth closed. And the second thing is to be proactive in hiring a quality, locally experienced criminal defense firm that can reach out to you, that can talk to you about, okay, what are the police reports going to say? What is your ex going to say? What is going to be coming forward in an emergency protective order, domestic violence protective order? What would we have seen if we were there? And then also to learn more about you, to learn more about your past, to learn more about your present, to learn more about your future, to be able to relay that information to the prosecutor, to explain to them, hey, not only should you not file charges from a factual standpoint, you should not file charges from an equity or a fairness standpoint, because look how good of a person our client is. Look what they have to lose if you even charge them with an offense. And also to paint the picture of, hey, if you are going to charge them down quickly, or we're going to lay down at all, we are going to fight to avoid a criminal conviction. And it's important to get that information relayed to a prosecutor early so they keep that in mind. If they're on the fence about filing, who you hire, who's representing you, what law firm's representing you could, and in very well in many instances does make cases as to whether they're going to file, and does make a difference as to what your outcome is going to be, and certainly would make a difference if the case proceeds all the way to trial. So violent situation where you're accused of committing a crime, when you think it's one of these he said, she said, how are they going to prove it? I'll just wait to see what happens to go to court. Terrible idea. You want to be even more proactive than ever. You want to be asserting your rights to remain silent. You want to be going out and retaining quality, locally experienced criminal defense firm to represent you. And you want to maximize your chances at success. So if you have any questions about that type of case or any criminal case in San Diego, reach out to my firm, 619-295-3555. Again,